How's it going, guys? Welcome to today's video. Today we're working in the shop and we're doing what I would consider to be one of the most important but also one of the easiest upgrades that you can do to any piece of equipment. That's what we're doing today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. In my line of work, I have the privilege of visiting a lot of people's ranches and checking out a lot of people's shops. And something that I've started to notice is that a ton of guys around here, and probably everywhere, have pieces of equipment in their yard that have caught on fire and burned down. So today I thought I would show you guys what I found to be the best and cheapest way to mount a quick release fire extinguisher to any piece of equipment. But for this example, I'm going to be using my Yamaha Wolverine. This is my 2018 Wolverine, and as it sits right now, it's pretty much bone stock. The first thing that the Wolvie needs is a fire extinguisher. Obviously, that's what we're doing today. But in the coming months, I'm going to be doing some more upgrades to this machine that I think every side-by-side should have, no matter how you intend on using it. The kits that I found that I really like just because of their simplicity, their durability, and their price are these Tusk kits that you can get from Rocky Mountain ATV. For around $70, you get everything that you see here, and that does include the fire extinguisher. However, if you already have a fire extinguisher that you can use to mount on whatever piece of equipment you're working on, you can buy just the quick release mount by itself for around $40, I want to say, which honestly isn't that bad. When I was shopping around for quick release mounts, a lot of what you find are these really fancy billet aluminum ones that are for race cars, or honestly, I don't know what they're for, but they cost about $200. So by comparison, this is a really strong mount. It's not quite as pretty as those, but for the price trade-off, these are well worth it. The first thing that we're going to need to do with this project, of course, is decide where on this machine we want to mount that fire extinguisher. Now, when you're figuring out where you're going to put it, you want to put it somewhere that's easily accessible, but you also don't want it to be somewhere where it's always going to be in your way. On the Honda back there, I've got it mounted on this bar, which is great for accessibility, but it does hinder vision a little bit. Since this Wolverine is used pretty much exclusively for recreational riding, I definitely don't want something that's going to block my vision. So to me, the best spot to put it is right on this back bar right here. Some of the other places that I considered were up here on this top bar or even on these interior roof bars. The reason that I decided against mounting it on these bars up here is because I was just getting worried that, I don't know, if I was going down a really rough trail or something like that and somehow that quick release pin vibrated loose and the fire extinguisher fell out of the mount, that it would land right on my lap or right on my wife's lap, and I can't have that. For all those reasons, I've decided that right here behind the driver's seat is going to be the best place to mount it on this machine. So let's get started. Truth be told, I probably should go ahead and wash the whole machine before I start working on it, but I don't really have time to do that, so I'm just going to clean up this one spot here on the roll cage where we're going to put that quick release mount. The first thing that we're going to have to do is get this quick release base mounted up to the roll cage. So the way this is going to work is you're going to have a band clamp at the top and a band clamp at the bottom. If you were mounting this onto a flat surface, you could drill holes in this and mount it with some self-drilling screws or something like that. So ideally, I'd like to have this about right here, but as you can see, I've got this little mount for the seat belt that's going to be in the way. So I'm going to end up putting it right about there, and that way I can get a clamp on top of this mount and then another one on the bottom. What I'm doing to mount up this quick release base is I'm just going to hold it up here about where it's going to go, and then I'm going to put marks on the roll bar with this gray pencil about where my hose clamps are going to go. The reason that I want these two marks here is so that I can wrap some rubber or even some electrical tape around the roll cage here, and then when I put those band clamps on there, that should help protect the finish on the roll cage. Well, it's a little bit of the redneck way to do that, but I think it's going to work. So let's get that bottom piece mounted on. The best way that I've found to do this is to first get your clamps wrapped around the cage and fit it on loosely. Then take this bottom piece, and this way we can get it right where we want it and kind of slide these clamps over like so. Once you're happy with where your mount is, go ahead and tighten it down. Are you kidding me? Well, I'm going to leave that in the video so you guys know and can learn from my mistake. Don't over tighten those clamps because apparently they can break. I thought they were a little bit stronger than that. Unfortunately, I don't have another clamp, but I can still finish this install. I mean, everything's going to be the same. I just won't be able to ride around like this. So yeah, we'll just keep going with it, but just like I say, learn from my mistake. Maybe an impact gun isn't the way to go when tightening these things down. The next thing that we need to do is take this mount and attach it to the fire extinguisher with these band clamps. I am going to use this impact again, but I'm going to be really careful and not get it too tight. Okay, so now I'm getting a little gun shy with the impact gun, so I'm just going to use the ratchet and be on the safe side. We got this thing mounted up here, and honestly guys, that's about it. That's how easy this install is. All this does is this little hook goes on the mount here. Stick your quick release pin in the bottom hole here, and that's it. We have our fire extinguisher mounted. Now there's one other thing that I did want to point out. I orientate the nozzle here so that if for some reason this thing did discharge, it wouldn't go straight into the back of my head. That's a little bit of a better angle, so you can see if for some reason that did go off, it's going to shoot off to the side and hopefully not suffocate me while I'm going down the trail, although it probably would still scare me pretty bad. I think it kind of looks cool mounted on the roll cage like that. Almost makes it look a little bit more like a race car. Well, there you have it, guys. It's just that easy to install the Tusk quick release fire extinguisher mount. It's literally as easy as tightening 4 band clamps. Just don't over tighten them, as we learned. Still kind of frustrated about that. The next time you guys see the Wolverine in a video, more than likely what we're going to be doing is installing the Warn VRX 45-S. That should be a really fun project because not only do we have to wire up and mount the winch to the Wolverine, but we're also going to need to make a little mounting bracket from scratch. Thanks for hanging out in the shop with me today, guys. I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.